Hello guys, the lighting's not great. Hello guys, Josh here. Welcome back to another video. You're gonna have to make do. In today's video, this is episode 2 of a guide to bus travel. Now in episode 1 I did my hometown of Cirencester. However, this place, I'm here all the time. I can do it off by heart. Welcome to a guide to bus travel inside Cheltenham. A town that should be a city. I will also be planning, well, I'm going to hopefully do Gloucester at the end of this week when you're seeing this. So today I'm recording this Saturday 5th of April and we're going to actually start with Cheltenham Royal Well bus station. Let's get started. So, Cheltenham Royal Well bus station, located on the road which would take you into the inner prom. Now, Royal Well bus station has 4 bays, A, B, C and D, as well as 3 standing bays for visiting coaches, waiting buses, waiting coaches, you know, all the rest of it, over on the far side. And it's a bit of a crescent shape, so it's not drive-in, reverse out, like your normal bus station style that you see in Swindon and Cheltenham. Now, I don't know which way round the bays actually go, because they're not all lettered properly. We're going to call this end A and that end D. I don't know. Is this A? Okay, so National Express coaches have their own bay on the actual bend that I just recorded here. So you can catch National Express coaches down to London Victoria Coach Station, Heathrow Airport. You get the services up to Birmingham, down to Bristol Airport. You also, of course, get the 444 service, Charlton Kings, Cirencester, Swindon, Cricklade, as well as they mostly all go up to Gloucester, as well as the 445, which extend through to Ross-on-Wye, Newent, Hereford, that sort of, those sort of areas as well. Now the other ones are the lesser ones, A, B and C, the stands, and they are served by the bus services that come to the Royal Well bus station. Now, stand A is just for the National Express coach services. Now stand B is probably what is the busiest stand here at Royal Well bus station. Now this one is served by the 801 by Pullams, which is the service to Morton in Marsh, Bolton on the Water, Stow on the Wold and Chipping Norton. And this one runs to quite a high frequency. Sun's behind me, let's go this way. That runs to quite a high frequency, and that is an hourly frequency, Monday to Saturday between Cheltenham and Chipping Norton, taking just under 2.5 hours to complete that journey. Departing from Bay B, and that is, you see, probably, I think it's 7:30 the first service from here up to Chipping Norton, and the final service is about 5:30 p.m, maybe 6:30 p.m. Some of them do terminate in Bolton on the Water because it is done by Pullams who come out of Bolton on the Water. That's where their depot is. Additionally, Bay B is served by the S2 between Cheltenham and Oxford, serving Northleach, Burford, Witney, Summertown down through to Oxford Gloucester Green, and this is served by Stagecoach West's Oxfordshire variant, and it comes out of the Witney depot, which it actually does serve quite a lot, and that runs to about a 2-hourly frequency Monday to Saturday. As for Sundays, the 801 runs only between Cheltenham and Morton in Marsh on a 2-hourly frequency, with the final 2 being only 45 minutes apart, with one terminating early, one not, if you know what I mean. And then the S2 has 3 return trips a day on a Sunday, the third one terminating at Witney, and the first one beginning in Witney from to Cheltenham. Now Bay C is for the less frequent services. Now both the 801 and S2 get very busy, and the 801 could even be a half-hourly frequency on Saturdays of how busy it gets. Now Bay C is for more services, so you get Cheltenham Community Transport services, as well as the twice-a-week services from that bay. Let's go have a look at Bay C at the timetable. So, Bay C and Bay D at the Royal Well bus station actually share a bus stand. Now, Bay C have the 575, which operates on Fridays only by NN Cresswell, and this one can take you down to Pershore. So Bishop's Cleeve, Aston Cross, Kinsome, Bredon, Eckington, Great Comerton, Little Comerton, Wick and Pershore. The 608 by Pullham's coaches running on Thursdays only, that goes to down to Mickleton, serving Bishop's Cleeve, Teddington, should that be Toddington? I don't know. Alstone, Alderton, Great Washbourne, Dumbleton, Warmington, Aston, Somerville, Buckland and Chiltwickham down to Mickleton. So they both operate one return trip on the day they serve. So 575s on Fridays, 608s on Thursdays, and it's one in each direction. So you come in, have a few hours, it's like a shopper link service. And then the K, operated by Swanbrook Coaches, which is their only, it is their only proper service that they do, and that is between here and Benhall via Hatherley, up Hatherley and the Readings, and that runs to an hourly frequency, Monday to Saturday. The timings being 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 on a Monday to Friday, and on Saturdays 9, 10, 11, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So quite similar to the 58 on Saturdays, they have an hour break. And Bay D, now it doesn't really matter that it shares a bay as well as a thing, because again, Bay D is only served by a one return trip a week service, and this is the 650 operated by Community Connections or Cheltenham Community Transport, and that's between here and Treddington, serving Bamfurlong, Starverton, Barrow, Boddington, Hardick, Elmston Hardick, Uckington and then Treddington, and that operates on Thursdays only. So Bay C and Bay D do have the 3 one return trip a week services, which are indeed 575 here to Pershore on Fridays, 608 here to Mickleton on Thursdays, and the 650 here to Treddington on Thursdays. Now the return trips are early afternoon. So the 575 return trip begins at 1 p.m. The 608 return trip leaves here at 1:15, and the 650's return trip is at 12:40. Paul Justin now is the S2, travelling to Burford, Witney and Oxford. Of course that is out of Witney's depot, my Stagecoach Oxfordshire. Now a little thing about the Royal Well bus station, in fact, you have the regular stand, so you have A, B, C and D next to the actual bus shelters. Obviously the National Express Bay A actually has space for 2 coaches, as well as the numbered bays on the corner. However, there is this little lay-by thing here off of the road where sometimes the S2 stops if it's running late, which happens quite a lot, so they just pull in off of the road adjacent to the other side of the shelter. He has left the engine running, so I presume he's in late. I think he's going to be the 12:47. I'm currently recording this at 13:22. We will go into that shelter and I will record the bus times. Additionally, the Pullham's Coaches 99 hospital service, Gloucester Hospital, Arle Court Park and Ride, Cheltenham Hospital, Cheltenham terminates there. However, it doesn't begin until Clarence Parade arrival. Let's have a look inside Stand B shelter, as there's an 801 leaving at 30 minutes past and a delayed S2. There's always heavy traffic down on the A40. I did do the full journey. It is a very, very nice journey. Let's have a look at it. Now these ones have their own like A3 sheet basically made by the company. So this are the trips towards Chipping Norton: 7:25, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, so hourly basically. One goes via North each a day in each direction, and one terminates early in Morton and Marsh, and then they all do that on a Sunday like that, and then it just says about visiting the areas and then a route map. And then Stagecoach have done the same for the S2. So the times from here: 6:27, 8:47, 10:47, 12:47, 2:47, 5:12 and 7:12 terminating at Witney. Saturday 6:47, 8:47, 10:47. He is leaving behind me now. 12:47, 2:47, 4:47 and 6:42. Then Sundays 8:47, 1:47 and 5:42. And then it just shows you the return journeys as well. If you need, so you know when the last one home is. From there to come back here, as well as the tube connector and some tickets. And then the council have done it themselves. The R also stops here but it doesn't actually ever come in. It would only stop at that lay-by there, and that one runs to quite a nice hourly frequency, 6:57 hourly till 6:57 p.m. Monday to Saturday, but that goes to Cheltenham Primark, and I don't think through travel is available. But then you've got the S2 timetable and the 8:01 timetable. With the final service actually only being 1 hour 30 on a Sunday, and it's actually 30 minutes later than the week, and that is a Terminator at the depot. So that is the Royal Bus Station for some of what they would call the international services, so coaches, and then the very long distance ones, so the one to Oxford and the one to Chipping Norton, as well as the one-a-week services, or just the very quiet services that have no space at the Promenade. However, I do think, I'm going to miss this, the S2 should go from the Promenade Stand 1 and go via the Rotunda. Go via the Rotunda and the hospital, instead of going the stupid way past Sanford Park and across Pittville Street, because on the return journey it goes a different way to serve John Lewis. So it's not a great timetable. Of course, that's not done Cheltenham Depot. They don't do that. That is in fact done by Whitney's depot at Stagecoach, Oxfordshire. So the next place we are going to be going is Cheltenham Promenade. Now, the main destination from Cheltenham Promenade is Gloucester, but it is all of the leaving Cheltenham services. So you have the services up to Gloucester, Churchdown, the Readings, Innsworth, the park and ride site, because it's the most centralised point to do it from. And you also have, of course, the service to Stroud, Brockworth, Painswick, Abbeydale, and again, Swindon, Cirencester, South Zerney, Cricklade. So I'm going to work from top to bottom because that's the end I'm at the moment. Let's start. The University of Surrey bus has just pulled in. Anyway, let's start from stand 5, which is served by 2 services, the 97 and 98. So, a perk with Cheltenham Promenade is every single stop is fitted with the upcoming services. So every stand at the Promenade has that. So stand 5 served by the 97 and 98, both travelling to Gloucester the long way, so they take about 55 minutes to an hour, depending on whether it's peak time or not. So they go via the Readings, Churchdown, Innsworth, then Longford into Gloucester. Now the 97 runs an hourly frequency, and it goes anti-clockwise through Churchdown, and then the 98 operates 2 trips an hour on the hour and 20 past on average around that, to make it an every 20-minute frequency. So one of those buses I've just seen, because there was 2 here, was 20 minutes late, one of them was on time. So it's an every 20-minute frequency Monday to Saturday, but the 97 goes one way around Churchdown, the 98 does the other loop around Churchdown, serving different bus stops. So if you want a certain bus stop in Churchdown that's only served by the 97, it's hourly. As for Sunday, they are both 2 hourly, which means that it overall gives yourself an hourly service on Sundays, which is quite a shallow drop. Both 97 and 98 are operated out of Gloucester Depot for Stagecoach West, which kind of makes sense, and they see anything between an ADL Enviro 400 to an ADL Enviro 400 MMC. Next up is stand 4, which is also served by only Gloucester Depot of Stagecoach West. (15983) followed by 10754. So, stand 4 is served by Stagecoach West in Gloucester's service 10, which operates between here, Gloucester, then Lower Tuffley. So this goes to the Park, Brockworth, Sherdington, Hucklecote, Gloucester, like the outskirts of the city centre, Lower Tuffley, does a loop around Lower Tuffley, and then comes back. So it is a circular at one end. Now this runs, on average, 15-minutely Monday to Saturday. However, I'm going to read the next 3 departures: 23 minutes, 29 minutes, 48 minutes. So that should be 15, 30, 45 minutes, but the first one's very late, the second one's early, and the third one's late. So it's really strange. So this is only served by the 10, which goes to Lower Tuffley via Gloucester and the Brock. So it's a weird way round. And on average, it's every 15 minutes. And this sees ADL Enviro 400 mmCs. It actually has the YT2 one plated. As well as on Friday and Saturdays, it's the N10, which goes from here to Gloucester only, and that operates one trip at 1:15 AM. And then the other journey from Gloucester only goes as far as Brockworth. For some reason, I don't know why, it doesn't stretch the entire way. As for stand 3, this is served by the highest frequency service in Cheltenham. It's the 94 and 94X, which are served by Cheltenham Depot. Now the 94 operates, they have branded vehicles, so let me just show you. That's reversed. It's Cheltenham, GCHQ, Churchdown, Long Levens and Gloucester. And they equally run Brandon says every 10 minutes, but in actuality it's every 15 minutes. But they cancel out to be every 10 minutes, so they alternate both at an every 15-minute frequency to be every 10 minutes. So if you're travelling between the two places, you can go on either service. They both go the entire way, and that runs to about an every 10-minute frequency, as well as the night services N94, NX94, so both taking around 25 to 30 minutes. Sorry, getting a bit of revs in the background, and that is operated by Lower Deckers overnight, and that is Monday to Saturday, and their slogan is never miss the last bus home, with buses running 24 hours a day. There's no night services on a Sunday. They start later, finish earlier on a Sunday, with a very early finishing for the 94X. It's about 8 PM, whereas the 94 does continue till the early hours of the morning. I think midnight it does continue until. Whereas Monday to Friday, the first trip from here is about 4 AM margin, excluding the night bus. Saturdays, it's about 5 AM, around that. Now, stand 2 is for the new, well, it's not new, it used to be numbered the 93. Used to get Lower Deckers, so this one is the 100, which travels to Arle Park and Ride. Now this sees quite a good frequency nowadays, with brand new double deckers from Stagecoach Oxfordshire. I think they were brand new YX73 plated, and this operates around every 15 minutes on Saturdays, every 20 minutes Monday to Friday, then Sundays no frequency as of yet, but they are speaking of increasing the frequency with different prices, of course, because it's Park and Ride. Now this operates a limited stops service between here and the Arle Park and Ride, which is located just off the A40, and it only stops here, Rotunda, Glencairn Park Road on the return, police headquarters on the outward journey, and then of course Arle Park and Ride. It runs from about, first trip I think from there is about 7ish AM, running to about 7ish PM with the last one from here. Of course, the last one from the Arle Park and Ride finishes about 6:05, but that one is normally empty. And now we're leaving the best till last, of course. It's my local bus from stand number 1. You get 3 buses from stand 1. The main 2 are the 51 and the 66, both running hourly Monday to Saturday. The 51 runs between Cheltenham Promenade and Swindon bus station, which is Swindon's depot. So it is Swindon's depot for Stagecoach West. As for the 66, it's Cheltenham to Stroud via Brockworth, Gloucester Business Park, Painswick and Abbeydale. And this one is actually operated by Cheltenham Depot of Stagecoach West, and they both run to about an hourly frequency during Monday to Saturday daytimes, and they alternate. So you get a bus at this bus stop every 30 minutes, if all is well. And then on Sundays, the 51 drops down to an every 2-hour frequency, with the first trip being 9:10 AM, the last trip being 5:10 PM, and then the 66 doesn't run on Sundays, which, by the way, it is a longer journey, taking actually 50 minutes, because it serves Abbeydale, Matson technically, and Gloucester Business Park, whereas on Sundays it's a 166 running every 2 hours. First trip being 8:40, last trip being 4:40, and that takes it 7 minutes quicker because it just goes basically straight down the main road. Sherdington, Brockworth, Painswick, no Abbeydale, and no variation where it serves Pagan Hill or Stroud High and Marling Schools. So that's all the services that leave Cheltenham, departing from either Promenade Stand 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 or Royal Well Bus Station A, B, C or D. Next up is for the Cheltenham urban area services, or the ones that remain within the area, because the 41, 42, 43 and 43A, which travel to Tewkesbury, Mitton, Northway, Priors Park, you know, all of them places, which are technically not in Cheltenham urban area. They go from Clarence Street, but I think that is just for ease and space. So let's walk to the first of 3 roads where services depart from, and that is Clarence Street. Let's get started. So, all of the next services are mainly operated by Stagecoach West Cheltenham's depot, but the ones that aren't Stagecoach are Pullham's coaches. Now, from Clarence Street, it's all Stagecoach. However, most of the Stagecoach services that run in Cheltenham go through Cheltenham's town, start somewhere outside of town, go through town to somewhere else. So they depart from 2 different places due to one-way systems and shit in the town centre. The only ones that don't are the Tewkesbury ones, the B, the H. Yeah, that's it, those 3 different variants. So starting with Clarence Street, which I'm just coming up to now, it has 4 stops. No, it doesn't. I think it has 3 actually. I think I'm telling lies. Well, we'll have a look when we're there. So the main one, the main thing is I don't know what the numbers are for these stands because I think it continues. So I think it's 6, 7, 8, 9, but I could be entirely wrong. Now there is actually SN66 VZA at the nearest stand to me. We're going to start at this stand and work our way back. So this stand here is served by the service A, which runs between Benhall GCHQ and Coronation Square, depending on the time of day and the week, because if GCHQ is not open, it won't run there, of course. And that runs to about an every 15-minute frequency, Monday to Saturday, starting very early, finishing very late, into the early hours, in fact, I think, on a Friday, Saturday. Sundays, it's half-hourly. Saturday, Sunday, it only goes as far as Coronation Square, and certain morning services and evening services only travel as far as Coronation Square in Hesters Way. So yeah, that's an every 15-minute service from there towards Prestbury, that is, from Hesters Way and GCHQ. You can pick it up at Clarence Street. The next stop at Clarence Street is, I'm guessing, number 7. I don't know. Oh no, it's 7, 8, 9, I think. So 8, whatever it is, the middle one of 3. This one here, this is served by the D, and you could use this bus stop to go to Cheltenham Racecourse, Park and Ride, and Bishop's Cleeve. And this runs to an every 20-minute frequency, Monday to Sunday, and it comes from Hatherley and the railway station. Now, it starts earlier, finishes later on Monday to Saturday. Sundays, however, it remains with the same frequency, if you know what I mean. But that's only for Bishop's Cleeve direction. We will talk about the other direction for both the A and the B and the D later on. And the final bus stop is stand 9, I know that for certain, and that is served by the Tewkesbury services. 41 is Cheltenham Northway, which runs, it's half-hourly, on average, half-hourly, Monday to Saturday, Sundays hourly. The 42 is the next frequent one, running hourly. Cheltenham to Tewkesbury, extending through to Mitton, with some services only going as far as Ashchurch railway station. The 43 and 43A alternate to be hourly, but they're 2 hourly each, and that's Cheltenham to Tewkesbury, either via Priors Park on the outward, or the return, depending on which one you get. So 43 serves Priors Park on the return, 43A does it on the outward. So through travel is available for some journeys. If you continue up past Clarence Street, past the Primark, guess what the bus stops are called? They're called Primark. And you see 2 bus stops up here, 2 stands. One is for the Stagecoach services, one is for the Pullham services. We'll head up there, then we'll do High Street, then we'll do Pittville Street, and then we're done. Okay, walking past Primark now, directly opposite Boots on North Street. you have 2 stands, so I'll start with the furthest one and I'll work my way back. So 18B, you've got the Pullham's L, which is circular towards Leckhampton and Pilly. The timings are there, so it runs Monday to Sunday, around every 45 minutes apparently. The N by Stagecoach, Cheltenham, it's Noverton Park from the park through town. So if you're going to Noverton Park, you get on here, and it alternates between Desert Orchard Road and Buttercross Lane being the terminus, and that runs half hourly Monday to Saturday, no service on Sundays. Then you have the R by Pullham's Coaches. It is Bishop's Cleeve service, serving Rowan Field, Coronation Square, Kingsditch and Bishop's Cleeve, and that's hourly Monday to Saturday, as we've already spoken about, up around the corner. And then you have the W by Stagecoach West, and that is Cheltenham to Winchcombe via Prestbury, and that is around about an hourly service Monday to Saturday, nothing on Sundays. As for stand, I believe it's 18A, that is served by 2 services, the 99, which is towards Gloucester, obviously beginning at Clarence Parade arrival. Now that is, it's half hourly frequency Monday to Friday for the hospital, nothing on Saturday or Sunday. And then the other service, I can't think off the top of my head. It's probably really obvious, I don't know what it is though, off the top of my head. Additionally, you can catch other services up at Boots Corner, so some of the ones that carry straight through. So the N, the A, the D towards Bishop Cleeve, and one other you can pick up from there. But most of them you just pick up from Boots Corner or Clarence Street. But some do begin at Pittville Street, loop around and then go back up and around. Next up, let's go to High Street. So yeah, for the reference, stop 18A at Primark is served by only the 99, where 18B is served by the other services I mentioned. The sun is blaring right now. The people are out, as what you love to see. It is making it very hard to even see my screen. The camera may not even be on me. I know it is, but like, there's a world where it's not on me. I'm going into the shade now. For High Street, we have 4 bus stops down High Street Road. I don't know what you want to call it, the road of High Street. Now, 3 of the stops are served by services I've already mentioned. That's the A, the D, no, just 2, sorry. The A and the D come down here, but they also stop at Clarence Street. So, of course, A towards Prestbury, you get from Clarence Street. D towards Bishop Cleeve, you get from Clarence Street as well. As for the other direction, well, let's talk about it. So, the nearest stop is only High Street because it terminates, it's just a Cheltenham 2. It starts in Cheltenham, ends in Cheltenham, and that's Cheltenham to Springbank and Fiddler's Green. So it is a circular at that end. That's served by the C, which is every 15 minutes, Monday to Saturday. Sundays, I believe it's half hourly. I think it's half hourly on a Sunday, and that starts and ends here at High Street. I don't know what the stops are numbered down here. I think they are numbered. So this one is 11. Stop 11 for the C towards Springbank and Fiddler's Green. I think it terminates at a different spot later in the evening and early in the morning.
What's your worry then?
Like towards the end of the duty. I'm doing this in one take, I don't want to end it, so we have the A here. So this is the A to the other direction, so if you're towards either Benhall, GCHQ or Coronation Square, depending on the time of day or the week. So this is stop 12, which is also served by the H to Kingsditch Sainsbury's, but it does terminate early at Swindon Village on a Sunday. That runs to a half-hourly frequency Monday to Saturday, hourly on Sundays, beginning at Pittville Street, and it does the loop around to come down High Street. And then the final stop down here is stop 13, and that is served by the every 20-minute frequency service D. You get this for services towards Hatherley and the railway station. It is also served by the N in the direction of the Park campus, which I can't remember where that starts because it's a through service. I think the midpoint for that is Pittville Street, I think, so where it stands for a few moments. And then you also get the R down here towards Bishop's Cleeve, and of course the R begins at Primark. So it's a weird service because it goes out of Primark, turns right, follows the road down a little bit, down Pittville Street. I don't think it stops on Pittville Street. Then it goes right at the end of Pittville Street, bearing round where the road goes. Then it bears left at the end of that, follows that down, bears right again onto Clarence Street, and then bears left down High Street to serve here. It's a very stupid service considering the return journey literally comes past High Street to go to Primark. So realistically, it could just start and end at High Street, but it doesn't. The next location and the final location in the Cheltenham Town Centre is Pittville Street, and then I'm done. Okay, Pittville Street is mainly served by services I haven't mentioned. Now, again, all of these are Stagecoach West Cheltenham, and if they're not, it's Pullham's coaches. We'll start right at the end, on the corner, and work our way up. Some of these, again, we've already mentioned, but there are 3 we have not. Start right at the end, it's the arrivals stand, which I don't really understand, considering the arrivals here. Anyway, the first stand is 14A. Served by the J, by Community Connections on Thursdays only around Cheltenham, up Hatherley, Arle, Lansdowne and Cheltenham. That, again, only operates one return trip a week on Thursdays, and that return trip begins at 11:55. Again, you have another J, because I think it serves here twice, if you know what I mean, towards up Hatherley at 10:25 Thursdays only. You also have the P and the Q, which are Cheltenham Circulars by Pullham's coaches, now serving Fairview, Little Cleeve, Mount Oakley, Battledown, Ewan's Farm, Rhineworth, East End, Charlton Kings, Charlton Park and the Hospital, doing reverse direction. So one goes that way round, the other one goes the reverse. They're 2 hourly each. So even hours are the P in the order I mentioned, and then the opposite is the Q on the odd hours. And the first one's 8:30, last one is 3:30. Monday, Saturday, no service on Sundays. Next stand, if we just walk, I don't need to stop. It is the A towards Hesters Way, Coronation Square, but the midpoint is High Street, and the R does stop on this road towards Bishop's Cleeve. The next bus stop is for the D only, and that will be towards Hatherley, Hatherley and the railway station from Bishop's Cleeve. The next stand is served by a new service we haven't mentioned, the 606. Now the 606 is actually in stand, and this is between Cheltenham and Chipping Campden. Most services terminate at Winchcombe. There's 3 a day that serve Chipping Campden, 8:40, 11:50 and 3:10, I think. And most of them terminate at Winchcombe, but if they don't, they continue through Broadway, Aston, Subedge, and then Chipping Campden. And the N also stops here towards the park before going round to the High Street, and that's half hourly, Monday to Sunday. Again, if you're going in the opposite direction to Noverton Park, you use Pittville Street. And the final stand right at the end is served by 2 services, both Stagecoach. You have the B, sorry, it's served by 4 apparently. We'll start with these 2. So we have the B, which is here to Charlton Kings via the Hospital. That runs around half hourly Monday to Friday, hourly on Sundays. Now, it works a little bit different on Sundays, but mainly the vehicle is, it does B, B, H, H, because it alternates. And then the H also goes from here to Kingsditch, Sainsbury, so it does go from High Street, starting here. Mile Hill, Wymansbrook, Swindon Village, Kingsditch. Runs half hourly Monday to Saturday, and then Sundays it's hourly, terminating at Wymansbrook with no service for Swindon Village or Kingsditch. But again, the B only serves Pittville Street. That's it. The H serves Pittville Street and High Street. The R serves Pittville Street, High Street and Primark. The D towards Bishop's Cleeve is Clarence Street and Boots Corner. But for Hatherley, it's Pittville Street or High Street. The C only is High Street. The A towards Hesters Way and Benhall GCHQ, it's Pittville Street or High Street. In the other direction towards, what's it called? Prestbury, it is Clarence Street or Boots Corner. And then you have the other services as well from Promenade and Royal Well Bus Station. Thanks very much for watching this video. Like, comment and subscribe for another Guide to Bus Travel episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.